Think about champions in any field. They aren't extraordinary because of a single moment of brilliance. They're extraordinary because of thousands of moments no one saw. Early mornings, late nights, quiet battles, countless hours of repetition. They don't wait to be in the mood. They understand that feelings are temporary, but discipline builds permanence. They know that success loves consistency, not intensity. It's better to give 70% every day than 110% once and quit after. True work ethic means you show up with whatever you have and give your best for that day, even if your best looks different from yesterday. Consistency also builds trust within yourself. Every time you honor your commitment, you're strengthening your identity. You stop being someone who hopes and you become someone who executes. You start believing deeply that you can rely on yourself. And that belief becomes fuel. It becomes empowerment. Suddenly you realize that you don't need external motivation. You've trained yourself to keep moving regardless of circumstances. You've built an inner engine that doesn't quit. But relentless consistency isn't just about grinding endlessly. It's about showing up with intention. It means being present, being focused, and being aware of the bigger picture. When you push yourself through fatigue or resistance, you aren't just checking off a box. You're proving that you are willing to pay the price that greatness demands. Every day you show up reinforces the idea that you are committed to the outcome, not just the feeling. When your actions align with your goals, you become a force of nature, unshakable, disciplined, and driven. The truth is, there will never be a perfect moment to start. There will always be stress, distractions, challenges, and excuses. The people who wait for the ideal conditions stay stuck, while the people who move anyway grow. Consistency teaches you to adapt, to push, to rise above circumstances. It builds resilience. It builds patience. It builds a mindset that doesn't rely on comfort to function. Even on the toughest days, showing up, even imperfectly, is still progress. A flawed effort is better than no effort. Missing one day becomes 2, then 3, and suddenly the habit collapses. But when you push through the resistance and maintain the streak, you keep the fire alive. Some days you will feel powerful. Some days you will feel drained. But consistency bridges the gap and keeps you aligned with your purpose. So when you don't feel like showing up, that is the exact moment you must. That is where champions are created. That is where the separation happens. Showing up is not just an action, it's a declaration. You're telling your future self, I'm building something that matters. And little by little, day by day, step by step, that consistency compounds into greatness. The world won't see the struggle, but it will feel the results. Consistency is the quiet, relentless force that turns ordinary effort into extraordinary outcomes. Outworking your limits begins with understanding one simple truth. Your potential is far beyond what your mind tells you. Most people operate at a fraction of their capability because they stop the moment they feel discomfort. They assume their limits are fixed boundaries, but in reality, those limits are more like illusions. Walls built by fear, doubt, and habit. When you develop the work ethic to push past that first layer of resistance, you begin to tap into a power that most people never discover. Discipline doesn't require you to be the strongest, the fastest, or the most talented. It requires you to be the one who refuses to stop when things get uncomfortable. There comes a point in every journey where progress slows down, where the grind feels heavier, where motivation fades. This is the moment where most people quit, labeling the struggle as a sign that they've gone far enough. But the truth is, this is where real growth begins. When your mind says I'm done, your body often has more to give. When your emotions say take a break, there's still progress waiting to be made. The difference between average and exceptional is found in what you do after you hit that mental wall. Champions lean into it. They push a little further. They demand more from themselves, not because they have to, but because they want to know what they're truly capable of. Outworking your limits is not about reckless exhaustion. It's about intentional expansion. Every day you push the boundaries of what you can do, even slightly, you widen the capacity of your discipline. You train your mind to stop panicking at the first hint of ion happens. Not in the easy moments, but in the grueling ones. When you keep going despite the discomfort, you build a mindset that can't be broken. You build a spirit that refuses to fold under pressure. You build a work ethic that becomes your competitive advantage. Imagine what happens when you outwork your limits consistently. Suddenly, tasks that once felt difficult become normal. Challenges that once intimidated you become manageable. What used to drain you now strengthens you. You begin to see obstacles as opportunities because you've trained yourself to rise above them. You stop being afraid of hard work because you've become someone who thrives in it. You start believing in yourself on a deeper level because you've proved through action that you can endure more than you thought. This shift doesn't just change how you work, it changes who you are. You walk with more confidence, you think with more clarity, you operate with more purpose. Knowing that you have the discipline to outwork your limits gives you an edge in every area of your life. You stop comparing yourself to others because you're too focused on outdoing your previous self. You stop doubting your ability because you've seen what you can endure. You stop hesitating because you've built the courage to act even in discomfort. Outworking your limits is not a one-time event, it's a lifestyle. It's the ongoing decision to challenge yourself, to push harder, to stay committed when the easy path calls your name. It's a promise you make to yourself that you won't live life at half speed, half effort, or half belief. You're choosing to live fully, to fight for your goals, and to build a future that reflects your true potential. Every day you have two choices: stay where you are or push for who you could become. Your limits are not the end, they are the beginning of your greatness. And the moment you decide to outwork them, you step into a version of yourself that can achieve anything. Mastering the boring is one of the most overlooked but powerful foundations of success. Most people chase excitement. They want the rush, the hype, the adrenaline of big moments. They want the transformation without embracing the repetition that makes transformation possible. But real success is not built on occasional bursts of motivation. It's built on the quiet, repetitive, sometimes dull actions that you show up for every single day. The truth is, greatness lives in the routines that most people ignore. It lives in the tasks that aren't glamorous, the habits that no one applauds, the effort that doesn't get posted online. The boring work is the backbone of mastery. When you commit to doing the same things over and over, practicing, studying, training, refining, you're building a skill set that becomes automatic. And that's where the magic happens. The boring work sharpens your instincts. It strengthens your discipline. It trains your mind to lock in and perform even when the environment isn't exciting. Think about the world's best athletes, musicians, entrepreneurs, and performers. Their excellence doesn't come from rare moments of brilliance. It comes from countless hours spent practicing things that look simple, repetitive, even tedious. They repeat until it becomes second nature, and then they repeat again until it becomes unstoppable. Most people get stuck because they want progress to feel exciting. They want instant improvement. They want the journey to always feel inspiring. But the process of becoming great is rarely thrilling. It's often slow. It's often uncomfortable. And that's exactly why so few people stick with it long enough to see real results. If something feels boring, people assume it's not working. But boredom is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of refine. Future. Sacrifice now. Shine later is more than a motivational phrase. It's a way of life that separates the people who dream from the people who achieve. Every great accomplishment carries a hidden cost, and those who rise to the top are the ones who are willing to pay that price long before the results show up. Most people want success, but they want it without giving anything up. They want comfort and greatness at the same time. They want free time, easy choices, instant gratification, and the rewards of hard work without the discomfort that comes with sacrifice. But success doesn't work that way. It demands payment up front. It asks you to give more than you think you can before it gives anything back. The world rarely sees what you sacrifice in the dark. It only sees what you achieve in the light. It sees the wins, the achievements, the highlights, the applause, the transformation. But behind every one of those victories are the moments nobody talks about. The moments when you said no to distractions. The moments when you chose discipline over comfort. The nights you stayed up working while others slept. The mornings you woke up early while others hit snooze. Every one of those sacrifices is a quiet investment. And like any investment, the payoff comes later, much later. But when it comes, it's worth every difficult decision you made. To sacrifice for your goals means understanding that comfort is temporary, but regret is permanent. The pain of discipline, the early mornings, the long hours, the uncomfortable growth is a pain that strengthens you. But the pain of regret, the pain of knowing you could have done more, could have tried harder, could have given more, that pain sits with you forever. Sacrifice is choosing the temporary discomfort of discipline so you never have to carry the weight of regret. Most people avoid discomfort and end up living with consequences. Successful people embrace discomfort to create the life they want. Every sacrifice you make strengthens your character. When you turn down the easy route, you build resilience. When you choose the hard path, you develop grit. When you give up something today for the sake of something bigger tomorrow, You train your mind to think long-term, and long-term thinking is one of the rarest skills in a world obsessed with instant results. Sacrificing now teaches you to delay gratification, to focus on what truly matters instead of chasing short-term pleasure. That mindset becomes a weapon, a strategic advantage in every aspect of life. But sacrifice is not just about suffering. It's about prioritizing. It's about choosing what matters most. You can't keep everything. You can't do everything. If you want to build something meaningful, you have to let go of everything that doesn't align with that mission. That means sacrificing old habits, toxic environments, unproductive routines, and sometimes even people who don't support your journey. It means saying no more often than you say yes. It means protecting your time, your focus, and your energy from anything that pulls you away from your purpose. There will be moments when sacrifice feels unfair, when you question why you're working so hard while others seem relaxed and carefree. But remember, the people who take the easy route now will pay the price later, and the people who pay the price now get to live the life others only dream about. The grind is temporary, but the rewards are long-lasting. Those who sacrifice today are the ones who shine tomorrow, because they've built a foundation strong enough to hold their success. Sacrifice also reveals who you really are. It shows you whether your goals are truly important to you, because if you're not willing to sacrifice for something, you're not committed to it. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you prove to yourself that you are serious. Every time you give up something you want today for something you want more in the future, you strengthen your identity. You build a reputation with yourself, one that says, I follow through, I do what it takes, I don't fold under pressure. That self-trust becomes a powerful force. There is beauty in sacrifice, even though it often feels painful. It's beautiful because it means you're growing. It means you're evolving into a stronger, sharper, more capable version of yourself. It means your dreams matter enough for you to fight for them. And the satisfaction that comes later, when the results finally show up, is something that can never be bought. It's earned through every hard choice and every sacrifice you made along the way. Shining later isn't about luck. It's about preparation meeting opportunity. It's about building the skills, the discipline, and the character long before you need them. When your moment arrives, and it will, you'll be ready because you paid the price in advance. And while others wonder how you suddenly succeeded, you'll know the truth. There was nothing sudden about it. The shine was just the final step of a long journey paved with sacrifice. So sacrifice now. Give up the distractions. Trade comfort for discipline. Trade easy choices for meaningful ones. Trade short-term pleasure for long-term power. When your time comes, and it will, your future self will thank you for the sacrifices you made today. You will shine because you earned the right to shine. Hustling with purpose means you don't just move, you move with intention. You don't just grind, you grind in a direction. Most people are busy, but very few are productive. They fill their days with activity, noise, and motion, but they're not moving any closer to the life they want. Purpose is Hat separates meaningful effort from wasted effort. When you know why you're working, every step you take has weight. Every action has a destination. Every sacrifice has meaning. And when you combine that purpose with relentless hustle, you become a force that's almost impossible to stop. A person who hustles without purpose gets tired. A person who hustles with purpose gets stronger. Purpose fuels you on the days when motivation disappears. It reminds you what you're fighting for. It keeps you grounded when things get chaotic, and it keeps you disciplined when distractions try to pull you off your path. When you know the why, you can endure any how. Purpose gives your grind resilience. It gives your work direction. It gives your struggle value. Instead of just pushing through life, you start pushing toward something. Many people hustle out of fear. They fear being broke. They fear being left behind. They fear staying average. Fear can push you for a while, but it burns out quickly. Purpose, on the other hand, pulls you forward. It creates a vision that's bigger than your excuses. It turns effort into momentum. When you hustle with intention, you're not just reacting, you're building. You're shaping your future with every move. Every hour you invest, every habit you develop, every small win you stack becomes part of something much larger than the moment. You're constructing a life that reflects your deepest goals, not just surviving day by day. Purpose-driven hustle also helps you choose what matters and eliminate what doesn't. When you're clear on where you're going, you stop wasting time on things that have no real value. You stop letting people distract you. You stop chasing temporary highs and start focusing on long-term outcomes. You stop spreading yourself thin and start narrowing your focus. The more purpose you have, the more disciplined you become, not be. Because someone tells you to be disciplined, but because you want to be. Distraction loses its appeal when your mission becomes more important than your comfort. But hustling with purpose still requires work. Hard, uncomfortable, demanding work. It doesn't make the journey easier, but it makes the struggle meaningful. There will be days when you feel exhausted, when progress feels slow, when doubt creeps into your mind. But purpose gives you the strength to keep going. When you know what you're fighting for, your family, your future, your dream, your evolution, you refuse to quit. Purpose quiets the excuses. It silences the fear. It gives you a reason to rise again, even when life knocks you down. The strongest people in the world are not the ones who work the hardest. They're the ones who understand why they're working hard. They know the dream they're chasing. They know the kind of future they want. They know the kind of person they're becoming. And that clarity gives them power. When you know your purpose, it becomes harder to distract you, harder to discourage you, harder to break you. You move differently. You work differently. You think differently. You take ownership of your life instead of letting life control you. Purpose also transforms your mindset. Instead of seeing obstacles as problems, you see them as necessary parts of the journey. Instead of getting frustrated by challenges, you use them as fuel. Instead of running from discomfort, you lean into it because you know growth is on the other side. You stop comparing yourself to others because your mission is personal, your path is unique, your timeline is your own. While others chase trends, you chase meaning. While others look for shortcuts, you look for progress. Purpose makes your hustle authentic, powerful, and unstoppable. And here's the truth. Purpose doesn't always start big. Sometimes it begins as a small spark, a dream you can't shake, a goal that keeps you awake at night, a feeling that you were meant for more. That spark grows as you take action. The more you move in the direction of your purpose, the clearer it becomes. The more you hustle with intention, the more connected you feel to your journey. Purpose isn't something you wait to find. It's something you build by showing up every day with focus and commitment. When you hustle with purpose, your progress compounds. Small victories become stepping stones. Consistent effort becomes transformation. You start seeing results not just in performance, but in who you are becoming. You develop discipline, confidence, resilience, and clarity, traits that stay with you for life. Purpose turns work into legacy. It turns effort into impact. It gives every drop of sweat meaning. So don't just hustle for the sake of hustling. Don't grind blindly. Don't run without direction. Know what you're fighting for. Know why you're waking up early, why you're sacrificing now, why you're pushing yourself beyond comfort. Let that purpose light your path. Let it drive your decisions. Let it fuel your discipline. Because when your hustle has meaning, success becomes inevitable. You're not just working hard. You're working smart, intentionally, and relentlessly toward a future you chose. Earning it daily means waking up every morning with the understanding that nothing you did yesterday guarantees anything today. Success is never owned, it's rented, and the rent is due every single day. Too many people think once they hit one goal, they can relax. They think one victory means they've made it. But greatness doesn't work that way. The moment you stop putting in the effort, the moment you stop pushing yourself, the moment you let your discipline fade, that's when you start slipping backward. The people who rise and stay at the top are the ones who understand that every day is a new opportunity and a new responsibility to earn their place. When you live with the mindset of earning it daily, you develop a powerful sense of accountability. You stop relying on past achievements to justify present laziness. You stop expecting rewards without putting in the work. You begin to understand that discipline must be renewed every morning. Every decision you make throughout the day becomes part of the contract you sign with your goals. The small choices, how you start your morning, how you respond to challenges, how you spend your time, matter just as much as the big ones. Success isn't built from one big day of effort. It's built from hundreds of ordinary days executed with extraordinary consistency. This daily approach builds hunger. It keeps you sharp. It prevents complacency from creeping in. Because complacency is subtle. It sneaks in when you start feeling comfortable, when you start believing you've already done enough, when you start thinking you deserve rest simply because you worked hard yesterday. But the truth is, comfort is the enemy of growth. You have to wake up hungry even when you're tired. You have to stay humble even when you're improving. You have to stay driven even when you're winning. Earning it daily teaches you to never settle, never coast, and never give less than your best. When you decide to earn it daily, your mindset shifts from entitlement to effort. You don't wait for opportunities, you create them. You don't rely on motivation, you rely on discipline. You don't hope for success, you build it. This approach forces you to focus on what you can control. Your effort, your attitude, your actions. And when you consistently control these things, results become a natural byproduct. You stop obsessing over outcomes and start mastering the process. Over time, you begin to trust yourself more because you know you're doing what most people aren't willing to do. Show up every single day. Earning it daily also protects you from disappointment. People who rely on shortcuts, luck, or occasional effort are constantly frustrated because they expect results they haven't earned. But when you commit to the daily grind, you know that your progress is real. You know your achievements are the result of hard work, not chance. You know that every step forward is backed by discipline. This gives you pride, not the arrogant kind, but the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you've earned everything you have. But make no mistake, the daily grind is not easy. It demands patience, sacrifice, and mental toughness. There will be days when you feel exhausted, days when nothing goes right, days when progress feels invisible. But this is where the greatest growth happens. When you show up despite the struggle, you're training your mind to overcome resistance. You're building resilience, grit, and a relentless work ethic. Every tough day you push through becomes a brick in the foundation of your future success. You start realizing that you don't need perfect conditions to make progress. You just need to take action. Earning it daily is also about integrity. It's about keeping promises to yourself. Anyone can set goals, but only a disciplined person follows through consistently. When you commit to earning it every day, you strengthen your self-respect. You learn to trust yourself because you've proven through action that you won't give up when things get difficult. This self-trust becomes one of the strongest assets you have. It translates into confidence, clarity, and courage in every area of your life. People often ask, how do I stay motivated? But the real question is, how do I stay disciplined? Motivation is unstable. It comes and goes. Discipline is stable because it's based on choice, not emotion. Earning it daily teaches you to take action whether you feel motivated or not. It turns success into a routine rather than a guessing game. And once your actions become routine, the transformation becomes unstoppable. This mindset also makes your success sustainable. Anyone can work hard for a week or a month, but very few people can show up consistently for years. That's what separates amateurs from professionals, dreamers from doers, average performers from high achievers. When you earn it daily, you're not just improving, you're evolving. You're not just chasing goals, you're becoming the kind of person who naturally achieves them. So every morning, remind yourself, today is another chance to earn it. Yesterday's effort doesn't entitle you to today's success. What matters is what you choose to do right now. Show up with purpose, show up with discipline, show up with the relentless determination to prove to yourself that you deserve the life you want. Because when you commit to earning it daily, greatness stops being a dream. It becomes your standard.